Have you ever woken up feeling weaker than the day before, struggling to find the energy to face a simple morning? Maybe you've noticed your memory slipping, or felt a quiet loneliness creeping in when you realize you're managing everything on your own. It's easy to blame these feelings on just getting old, but what if that's not the whole story? What if small, everyday habits could keep you feeling stronger, sharper, and more alive than many people half your age? This is something that's often overlooked, yet it can make all the difference. In today's video, I'm going to share 5 simple morning habits that have helped me stay healthy and independent at 94. These aren't big, complicated routines, just small changes that anyone can do. Stick around, and you might find a new way to start your day feeling better than ever. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. Habit 1. Wake up on time and practice deep breathing. Have you ever lain in bed as the morning light peeks through your curtains, wishing you could summon the energy to rise but feeling strangely heavy and reluctant? It's a feeling many of us have grown accustomed to, pressing the snooze button, drifting back into half-dreams, and blaming our sluggishness on just getting older. Perhaps you assume that waking up late or feeling groggy is simply the price we pay for each passing year, a normal part of aging that you must accept without complaint. But what if that assumption is holding you back from one of the easiest yet most powerful keys to daily vitality? What if, instead of resigning yourself to mornings steeped in drowsiness, you could establish a simple ritual that resets your body clock, floods your mind with fresh oxygen, and primes your entire system for the day ahead? It may sound too good to be true, but science, and countless seniors themselves, confirm that waking up on time, coupled with just a few moments of deep, intentional breathing, can transform your mornings from a groggy haze into a period of rejuvenation and clarity. Here's the science in plain English. Our bodies operate on what researchers call a circadian rhythm, a 24-hour internal clock that governs sleep, alertness, hormone release, and even digestion. When we wake up at inconsistent times, that rhythm becomes muddled. Hormones like cortisol and melatonin, which help us feel energized in the morning and sleepy at night, are released erratically. The result? You might struggle to fall asleep at a reasonable hour, find yourself tossing and turning, then wake up feeling unrest even after a full night's sleep. Deep breathing amplifies this effect by supplying your brain and vital organs with an influx of oxygen, reducing anxiety and jump-starting circulation. In one study published in the Journal of Alternative and Complementary Medicine, participants who practiced slow, diaphragmatic breathing for just 10 minutes reported lower stress levels and clearer thinking throughout the day. So, how can you incorporate this into your mornings, without turning your routine into a rigid schedule that feels like a chore? The beauty of this habit lies in its simplicity and adaptability. First, choose a wake-up time that feels reasonable for you, whether that's 6:30 a.m. or 8 a.m., and stick to it 7 days a week, even on weekends. Treat your wake-up call like a gentle invitation, not an alarm you dread. If you use a smartphone, select a soothing sound, perhaps soft piano or birdsong, to ease you into wakefulness rather than jolting you awake. Place your alarm across the room so that you have to sit up to turn it off. This small action helps dislodge lingering sleep inertia. Once you're upright, take a moment to stand beside your bed, plant your feet firmly on the floor, and close your eyes. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears. Then, breathe in slowly through your nose for a count of 4. Feel your abdomen gently expand as you draw air deep into your lungs. Hold for a brief count of 1 or 2. Exhale completely through your mouth for a count of 6, allowing your ribcage and belly to soften. Aim for 5 to 8 cycles of this breath pattern. This simple breath work not only activates the parasympathetic nervous system, your body's natural rest and digest mode, but also increases heart rate variability, an indicator of resilience and adaptability in older adults. Consider the story of Mary, a lively 87-year-old retired schoolteacher living alone in Tucson, Arizona. Mary used to dread mornings so much that she often stayed in bed until nearly 9 a.m., only to rush through her day in a frantic haze. She blamed her mid-morning headaches and persistent fatigue on just being old. But when her granddaughter, a yoga instructor, suggested the wake up and breathe routine, Mary skeptically agreed to try it. Within a week, she noticed a subtle yet profound shift. Her mind felt clearer, she arrived at her morning book club on time, and the headaches were gone. Encouraged, Mary even began journaling briefly after her breathing, noting her gratitude for each new day. Today, at 89, she still swears by those 10 minutes beside her bed, calling them her daily energy gift. You might wonder, what if I miss a day or oversleep because my body genuinely needs the rest? That's perfectly okay. The goal isn't perfection, it's consistency over time. If you have an early doctor's appointment or experience an unusual bout of fatigue, simply resume the wake up and breathe routine as soon as you can. Think of this habit not as a strict rule, but as a compassionate pact with yourself. You'll show up each morning and give your body the chance to wake up fully, with gentle insistence rather than force. As you grow accustomed to waking at the same time and engaging in mindful breathing, you may notice other benefits cascading into your life. Improved digestion, because your gut is receiving signals that it's time to become active. More stable moods, as cortisol levels regulate. And perhaps a renewed sense of purpose, knowing that each day begins with an act of intentional self-care. If you have trouble staying on schedule, try setting a secondary reminder. Perhaps a note on your bathroom mirror reading, "Take 5 deep breaths." If you live with a partner or have a supportive friend, invite them to join you. Shared practice can strengthen relationships and accountability. Remember, age is not the barrier. Stagnation is. By honoring your body's natural rhythms and nourishing it with oxygen-rich breaths, you are declaring that life after 65 is not a slow decline but an opportunity for continued growth, clarity, and joy. So tonight, before you drift off, choose your wake-up time and set your alarm. Tomorrow morning, resist the temptation to hit snooze. Instead, plant your feet on the floor, close your eyes, and breathe deeply. As the air fills your lungs, feel the promise of a new day coursing through you. Here's to mornings that awaken not only your body, but your spirit. Proof that a few simple breaths can make you feel decades younger. Habit 2. Drink a glass of warm water and have a light breakfast. Have you ever slipped into your morning routine so automatically that you forget the simplest acts of self-care, like drinking a glass of water or sitting down to a proper breakfast, and instead wander through your day feeling thirsty, lightheaded, or completely drained? Maybe you tell yourself you don't have time for breakfast, or you assume that, at your age, skipping a meal or two won't make much difference. You think a cup of coffee alone will carry you through until lunchtime, or that your stomach can handle it without complaint. But the truth is, when we deprive our bodies of that first dose of hydration and gentle nutrition, we're robbing ourselves of the steady energy, stabilized blood sugar, and digestive well-being that keep us feeling vibrant and independent, especially after 65. What if I told you that this morning shortcut you believe is harmless could be one of the biggest reasons you feel stiff, unfocused, or light on your feet by midday? What if I suggested that simply drinking a warm glass of water and enjoying a small, balanced breakfast could reset your entire system, boosting your metabolism, flushing out toxins, and priming your mind for sharper focus, all before you even take your first walk around the block? It might sound too easy, but in reality, these 2 tiny changes are backed by science and embraced by seniors everywhere who refuse to let age define their limits. Let's break down the science in straightforward terms. First, hydration. We're made of about 60% water, and as we get older, our natural thirst signals tend to weaken. This means you might be dehydrated before you even notice a dry throat or a headache. Drinking warm water first thing in the morning kickstarts your kidneys, gently warms your digestive tract, and helps flush out metabolic waste that accumulates overnight. Studies have shown that warm water can aid in vasodilation, the widening of blood vessels, which improves circulation and can even lower blood pressure slightly, a boon for anyone managing hypertension. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment one below to let me know that you are still here with me. Then there's the breakfast component. As we age, our metabolism does slow down a bit, but it still needs a consistent source of fuel to maintain muscle function, support brain health, and keep blood sugar levels stable. Skipping breakfast can lead to a cascade of effects. Cortisol spikes to compensate for lack of energy, leading to increased stress and irritability. Blood sugar may plummet, causing that mid-morning slump or even dizziness. And our bodies begin to preserve calories by burning less efficiently, which can exacerbate feelings of fatigue. A light breakfast rich in protein and fiber. Think a small bowl of oatmeal with a handful of berries, a soft-boiled egg with whole grain toast, or Greek yogurt topped with sliced banana, provides that steady release of nutrients your body craves. So, how can you weave this simple habit into your mornings without feeling like you're adding yet another chore to your to-do list? Start the night before by placing a clean glass or ceramic mug on your kitchen counter. Fill it with water and gently warm it in the microwave or on the stovetop, just enough so it's pleasantly warm, not scalding. While the water is heating, gather your breakfast ingredients. Perhaps a pre-measured packet of old-fashioned oats in a bowl, a piece of fruit you've washed the night before, or a couple of eggs ready to boil. In the morning, before you even leave your bedside, head straight to the kitchen, pour that warming water into your mug, and take 3 slow sips while standing or sitting comfortably. Feel the warmth travel down your throat, easing you into the day. Next, sit at your kitchen table or a favorite chair by a sunny window. Pour the rest of your warm water into a reusable insulated cup or thermos to keep it at just the right temperature. Then prepare your breakfast. If you like oatmeal, opt for quick cooking oats. Just add hot water or milk, stir in a handful of nuts or a spoonful of chia seeds, and sprinkle on fresh or frozen berries. If eggs are more your style, boil them before bed and peel them in the morning, pairing them with a slice of whole grain toast. As you eat, chew slowly, savor each bite, and take small pauses between mouthfuls to sip your water. This practice sets a mindful tone for the day, encourages proper digestion, and helps you appreciate the nourishment you're giving yourself. Consider the story of George, a spirited 82-year-old jazz pianist who lives alone in Portland. For years, George thought a quick black coffee was enough to get him through the morning, followed by a lean lunch at noon. He began noticing that his fingers felt stiff on the piano keys, his concentration wavered during rehearsals, and he suffered from occasional bouts of heartburn. When his granddaughter, a registered dietitian, dropped by and observed his routine, she gently suggested adding a warm glass of water and a light, protein-rich meal each morning. George was skeptical at first. He'd been doing just fine for decades. But after 2 weeks of this new ritual, he noticed his fingers loosened up, his heartburn vanished, and his improvisations flowed more freely than they had in years. Now, he tells everyone in his Sunday jazz circle that his morning water and oatmeal are as essential as his piano tuning. You might worry, what if I don't feel hungry that early? That's perfectly normal. Appetite can change as we age, and forcing down a large plate of food isn't necessary. The goal is gentle, satisfying nourishment. Perhaps half an apple with a tablespoon of peanut butter, or a small smoothie made with spinach, banana, and a scoop of protein powder. The warmth of the water itself stimulates your digestive tract, so even light fare feels comforting. And if your sleep was particularly restless and your body craves more rest upon waking, start with just the water and delay breakfast 30 minutes. Over time, as your body adjusts, you may find your appetite returning at that gentle dawn hour. Remember, consistency is more important than perfection. If you have an early appointment or find yourself rushing out the door, take the water with you in a thermos and pack a small snack. Maybe a boiled egg or a portion of yogurt, to enjoy as soon as you have a moment. If mornings feel too hectic, enlist a friend or neighbor to join you. Sharing this simple ritual can strengthen bonds and keep you motivated. Some seniors even form morning check-in phone calls, where they ring each other to confirm they've completed their hydration and breakfast before the day truly begins. As you make this habit part of your daily life, you'll likely notice other positive effects ripple outward. More stable energy levels so you're not reaching for sugary snacks mid-morning. Improved mood as your blood sugar stays balanced. better hydration that reflects in healthier skin and even fewer headaches, and a quiet sense of accomplishment that comes from caring for yourself so intentionally. In my own experience, I've found that the day feels brighter when I give my body that simple, life-affirming gift. It's a reminder that, no matter your age, you deserve to start each morning with compassion, nourishment, and warmth. So tonight, before you settle in for bed, set out that glass and choose your breakfast items. Tomorrow morning, reach for the warmth, take that first sip, and savor each mouthful of your light breakfast. As you do, know that you're not just filling your stomach, you're honoring your body's needs, supporting your well-being, and investing in many more vibrant mornings to come. Here's to drinking in life, one warm sip and gentle bite at a time. Habit 3. Do gentle exercise at home. Have you ever noticed how your body seems to stiffen overnight, so that even bending to tie your shoes in the morning feels like cracking concrete? Many of us chalk that up to just getting older, accepting creaky joints and sore muscles as inevitable parts of life after 65. We tell ourselves that exercise is for younger people, envisioning crowded gyms or long jogging routes that feel too daunting or risky. But what if moving gently, right in the comfort of your living room, could restore flexibility, ease joint pain, and even brighten your mood, all without ever setting foot on a treadmill or stepping outside on a chilly morning? What if, instead of resigning yourself to stiffness and fatigue, you discovered a set of simple, safe movements that honor your body's abilities and limitations while gently strengthening muscles, improving balance, and boosting circulation? It may seem too good to be true, but decades of research, and the first-hand experiences of seniors across the country, confirm that consistent, low-impact exercise can be one of the most powerful tools for preserving independence and vitality well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. Here's the science in everyday language. As we age, we naturally lose muscle mass and bone density at a gradual pace, about 3 to 8% per decade after age 30, unless we actively counteract it with movement. Without regular activity, our connective tissues stiffen, circulation slows, and neurotransmitters that regulate mood and alertness become less efficient. The good news is that even gentle activity, lifting your arms, stretching your spine, shifting weight from one foot to the other, sends signals to your body that help maintain muscle fibers, lubricate joints with synovial fluid, and stimulate blood flow. That blood carries fresh oxygen and nutrients to every cell, helping you think more clearly, reduce pain, and ward off chronic conditions like high blood pressure and type 2 diabetes. A study published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity found that seniors who engaged in just 15 minutes of moderate-intensity exercise daily reported improved mobility and up to a 30% reduction in fall risk over a year. So, how can you embrace this powerful habit without overwhelming yourself or risking injury? The key is to choose movements that feel natural and comfortable, then build them into your morning routine. No special equipment required. Picture this. You wake up, you've already practiced waking on time and deep breathing, and you've had your warm water and light breakfast. Now, before you sit down to watch the morning news or check your email, you roll out of bed and step into a clear, well-lit space in your living room or bedroom. Just enough room to extend your arms without knocking over a lamp. Begin with a gentle warm-up. March in place for 30 seconds, lifting your knees to a level that feels comfortable, perhaps ankle to mid-calf height. Swing your arms gently, letting circulation awaken from toes to fingertips. You don't need a stopwatch. A favorite song's chorus might give you just the right count. Next, move into a seated spinal twist. Sit at the edge of a sturdy chair with both feet flat on the floor, hip-width apart. Inhale as you lengthen your spine. Exhale and turn your upper body to the right, placing your left hand on the outside of your right thigh and your right hand on the backrest. Hold for 3 breaths, feeling a gentle stretch along your back and sides. Repeat on the other side. This move helps maintain spinal mobility, easing the common mid-back stiffness that makes simple tasks, like reaching into a high kitchen cabinet, feel arduous. From there, shift to standing calf raises. Hold onto the back of your chair for balance, rise onto the balls of your feet, then lower back down slowly. Aim for 8 to 10 repetitions. This exercise quietly strengthens the calf muscles and ankle joints, critical for balance and preventing falls when you walk up or down a few steps. Then, try wall push-ups. Stand an arm's length from a wall, hands at shoulder height, feet hip-width apart. Lean in, bending your elbows to gently press your chest toward the wall. Then push away until your arms are straight. Repeat 8 to 12 times. Wall push-ups build upper body strength without the strain of floor push-ups, supporting everyday activities like lifting groceries or reaching overhead. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Perhaps most transformative is a simple single leg stand. With your chair or countertop close by, lift your right foot a few inches off the ground and balance on your left leg for as long as feels comfortable. Start with 10 seconds and gradually increase. Switch legs. This move may feel challenging at first, but research shows that even small improvements in single leg balance can dramatically reduce fall risk, a leading cause of injury among seniors. Over time, you might find yourself holding the pose for 30 seconds or more, proud of your progress. Let me tell you about Margaret, an energetic 91-year-old former librarian who lives in Boise, Idaho. After a minor fall in her kitchen left her shaken, Margaret swore she would never feel powerless on her own 2 feet again. She confided in her grandson, a physical therapist, who recommended a daily routine of 5 gentle movements: marching in place, seated twists, calf raises, wall push-ups, and single leg stands, right after her morning coffee. At first, Margaret could barely lift her knee high enough to march, and balancing on one leg felt impossible. Yet within 2 weeks, she noticed her ankles felt more supportive. She walked to her mailbox without gripping anything, and even reached higher shelves in her closet with less strain. At 92, she describes herself as more spry than some of my neighbors in their 70s, and credits those 10 to 15 minutes each morning for giving her confidence to move freely. Of course, it's normal to have days when energy is low or a stiff joint protests. On those mornings, listen to your body and scale back. Maybe skip the wall push-ups and focus on gentle stretches, or shorten your balance time. Consistency, showing up each day, even for half the routine, is what matters most. If you have any physical concerns, check with your healthcare provider before starting. Many simple movements are safe for most people, but personalized guidance can help you feel secure. A few practical tips can help you stay on track. Lay out a small exercise mat or non-slip rug where you'll practice, and mark it with an uplifting note, strong at 80, or every step counts. If you enjoy music, create a playlist of songs that keep you motivated for 10 to 15 minutes. Consider inviting a friend to join you virtually, perhaps a neighbor down the hall or a grandchild who can video call in the morning. Sharing the routine adds fun and accountability, plus an extra dose of social connection, another proven factor in longevity and well-being. As you integrate these gentle exercises into your morning ritual, you may notice surprising benefits beyond physical strength. Improved mood as endorphins kick in, a sense of accomplishment that carries through your day, and even better sleep at night as your body thanks you for purposeful movement. You might find yourself standing straighter, reaching up without grimacing, cooling your coffee with less effort, or walking into the garden to tend your favorite flowers with renewed vigor. Remember, this is not about chasing an ideal body or competing with anyone else. It's about honoring the life you've lived, celebrating the strength you still possess, and safeguarding the freedom to move with confidence. Each gentle stretch, each mindful lift, each breath-driven march is a statement. Age may change us, but it will never define our capacity for growth or our right to live fully. So tomorrow morning, after you've breathed deeply and nourished yourself with that warm water and light breakfast, step into your space and move with intention. Begin with a single calf raise or a moment of standing tall on one leg, and know that every movement is a gift to your future self, laying the groundwork for many more mornings of independence, joy, and grace. Habit 4. Spend a few minutes connecting spiritually or mentally. Have you ever sat in your favorite chair, steamy mug in hand, while the world outside moves at its usual hectic pace, and felt a quiet emptiness settle into your chest? Perhaps you notice how the headlines, the endless to-do lists, or even well-meaning phone calls can leave you feeling mentally scattered or emotionally drained. Many of us chalk that hollowness up to just life these days, or dismiss it as an inevitable byproduct of aging, thinking that after 65, peace of mind is something we once had, not something we can still cultivate. But what if taking just 5 minutes each morning to consciously connect with your breath, your thoughts, or your spirit could reshape your entire day, filling you with calm clarity and a renewed sense of purpose? What if I told you that this seemingly small ritual is backed by research showing it can lower stress hormones, improve sleep quality, and even bolster memory? What if, by carving out a brief moment for stillness or reflection, you could quiet the mental chatter that ages your mind faster than the calendar ever could? It may feel counterintuitive to slow down when life seems to speed up around us, yet countless seniors who embrace a daily practice of meditation, journaling, or gratitude reporting report feeling more centered, resilient, and joyful, proof that mental and spiritual well-being is within reach at any age. Here's the simple science. When stress hormones like cortisol run high, they flood our bodies and brains, disrupting sleep, impairing immune function, and eroding our emotional stability. Mindful practices, whether through gentle meditation, heartfelt prayer, or jotting down what we're grateful for, activate our parasympathetic nervous system, our body's rest and recharge response. Studies in the Journal of Behavioral Medicine show that just 10 minutes of guided breathing or mindfulness each day can reduce cortisol levels by up to 25% and improve focus and memory performance in seniors. Moreover, gratitude journaling has been linked to improved mood, better sleep quality, and stronger social connections, key ingredients for a longer, healthier life. So, how can you weave this transformative habit into your morning without feeling like it's yet another obligation? The magic lies in its flexibility. Begin by choosing a practice that resonates with you. It could be 5 minutes of seated meditation, closing your eyes and simply noticing your breath, a short gratitude list of 3 things you're thankful for, reading a brief inspirational passage, or offering an intention or prayer for the day. Find a quiet spot, perhaps a windowsill overlooking a garden, a nook by the bed, or even a bench on the front porch. Set a gentle timer for 5 minutes to free your mind from clock watching. Then, settle into a comfortable position, whether that's cross-legged on a cushion or seated in a supportive chair, with your spine tall but relaxed. If you choose meditation, allow your breath to guide you. Inhale slowly through your nose for a count of 4, exhale gently through your mouth, and as thoughts arise, simply label them thinking, planning, worrying, before returning your focus to the breath. If journaling calls to you, keep a small notebook on your nightstand and begin each morning by writing, "Today I am grateful for," listing 3 simple items: a warm blanket, a phone call from a friend, the sunrise. Or you might prefer speaking quietly, "May I be kind to myself and others today," or "I release my worries and embrace whatever comes." The key is consistency, not perfection. Showing up each morning, even when your mind feels restless or you're tempted to skip it. Consider the story of Harold, a 78-year-old retired firefighter in Asheville, North Carolina. After decades of high-stress work, he struggled with insomnia and carried a lingering sense of restlessness into retirement. When his daughter introduced him to a 5-minute morning meditation app, he laughed it off, thinking it was too new-agey for his tastes. But after a week of giving it a try, sitting on his back porch, headphones on, guiding voice in his ear, Harold found himself sleeping more soundly, waking without the usual tension in his chest. He began to look forward to those quiet moments each day, joking that they were better than coffee at clearing his head. Within a month, his friends noticed he seemed calmer, more engaged, and even cracked more jokes at their weekly card games. For Harold, those brief minutes weren't just a habit. They became the anchor that kept him steady through life's storms. You might wonder, what if I feel self-conscious or find it hard to quiet my mind? That's perfectly normal. The goal isn't to empty your thoughts, but to practice noticing them without judgment. Start small. Maybe focus on a single word, peace, gratitude, or simply inhale repeatedly. If your thoughts wander, gently guide them back. Over time, you'll discover that noticing the wandering itself is part of the practice, a chance to build patience and self-compassion. Practical tips can help you maintain momentum. Place a small sign or reminder, "Be here now," where you'll see it first thing. If you wake up with your phone in hand, set a Do Not Disturb mode and open your meditation or journaling app only when you've permitted yourself to begin. Consider pairing your practice with something you already do, like after your deep breathing routine or while your warm water cup cools down. Or invite a friend to join you virtually for a weekly check-in, sharing how the practice is going and reminding each other to keep going. As you embrace this daily connection, you may notice ripples of benefit throughout your life. Less reactivity when traffic snarls or a family disagreement arises. A deeper appreciation for small joys, a bird song, a neighbor's wave, the steam rising from your morning tea, and a renewed sense of belonging within yourself. Your mind, once crowded with worry, becomes a quieter, more spacious place where creativity and insight can flourish, whether you're planning a family dinner, tackling a crossword puzzle, or simply savoring the afternoon sun. Remember, nurturing your mental and spiritual well-being isn't about escaping reality. It's about engaging more fully with it. By offering yourself these few minutes of calm focus each morning, you cultivate resilience that carries you through challenge and gratitude that magnifies life's blessings. So tomorrow, before you begin scrolling or checking your calendar, find that quiet spot, set your timer, and connect, whether through breath, words, or stillness. In those moments, you honor your inner life, tend to your emotional health, and lay the groundwork for a day that feels richer, more balanced, and beautifully your own. Habit 5. Make a simple plan for the day. Have you ever found yourself wandering through the morning hours without a clear sense of what comes next? Pouring coffee, glancing at the phone, then wondering where those first 2 or 3 hours slipped away. It's a scene many of us know all too well. The day stretches ahead, but without a bit of direction, tasks pile up, stress creeps in, and by midday, you feel frazzled rather than fulfilled. We often assume that planning requires big, intricate to-do lists or fancy apps, and that by our age, it's too late or too tedious to bother. But what if the simplest act of jotting down 2 or 3 gentle goals each morning could become the compass that guides you through the day, reducing anxiety, boosting productivity, and even preserving precious energy for what truly matters? What if this tiny shift, taking just 5 minutes to sketch a basic roadmap for your day, could make you feel more in control, more motivated, and more content? It might seem too modest to be transformative, but research and real-life stories show that having a simple plan is one of the most effective ways to reduce stress and strengthen your mental well-being, especially for those of us who cherish our independence after 65. Think of it this way: our brains are wired to seek patterns and structure. When we wake up without a plan, our minds spin through a jumble of tasks. Pay a bill, call the doctor, tackle the laundry, with no clear order. That mental clutter triggers cortisol, the stress hormone, which in turn saps energy and clouds thinking. On the other hand, when we identify just 2 or 3 achievable priorities, our brains release dopamine, a feel-good neurotransmitter, once we check each one off. That sense of progress fuels motivation, sparks positivity, and helps us conserve energy by narrowing our focus to what truly matters. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. So, how do we harness this power without overcomplicating our mornings? The key is simplicity and kindness toward yourself. Start by placing a small notebook or even a single index card and pen beside your morning beverage, whether that's a cup of tea, coffee, or a glass of warm water. Before you sip that first taste, take your journal into a calm spot, perhaps a table by the window, a cozy armchair, or even your favorite bench on the porch. Give yourself a moment to notice how you feel. Are your shoulders tense? Is your mind already racing through errands? Acknowledge those sensations without judgment. Now, on the top line of your notebook, write, "Today I will," and follow it with 2 or 3 short, specific, and positive statements. They might look like, take a 15-minute walk around the block. Call my granddaughter to wish her happy birthday. Sort and file last week's mail. That's it. No need for lengthy bullet points or time slots. The aim is clarity. By defining gentle priorities, you gently set up your day's framework. Spend no more than 2 minutes on this step, enough to guide you, not enough to overwhelm. Let's consider the case of Robert, a 79-year-old retiree in suburban Ohio who used to feel scattered every morning. He would wake up, feed his cat, then drift from watching news to checking email, only to realize he hadn't made progress on the things that mattered most. Connecting with friends, staying active, or simply enjoying a good book. His daughter, a life coach, suggested the 2 to 3 goals technique. Skeptical at first, Robert agreed to give it a try for 1 week. He began by jotting down 3 simple intentions: water the garden, read for 20 minutes, and practice my trumpet scales. By lunchtime, he was surprised at how much calmer he felt. He'd watered his beloved roses, devoured a chapter of his favorite novel, and even surprised himself with a clear, confident trill on his horn. He found that having those 3 signposts kept him on track, prevented mindless scrolling, and made each task feel meaningful rather than burdensome. After a month, Robert called it his daily compass, and he still uses it today to keep his days balanced and bright. But what about the science behind this approach? Studies in the field of behavioral psychology show that setting implementation intentions, phrasing goals as, when X happens, I will do Y, dramatically increases the likelihood we'll follow through. Even at an advanced age, our brains respond positively to this clear cue and action format. By stating after breakfast, I will take my walk, you're effectively programming your brain to notice the opportunity and act on it. Moreover, the act of writing by hand engages fine motor skills and memory pathways, reinforcing the commitment more deeply than typing ever could. Of course, life is unpredictable. Maybe your phone rings in the middle of your planning, or you remember an urgent errand. That's perfectly okay. If an emergency arises, simply adjust, cross out one item, replace it with a new priority, or move it to tomorrow's list. The flexibility of this method is what makes it so sustainable. You're not creating a rigid schedule that must be followed to the minute. You're crafting a living, breathing guide that adapts to real life. Another friend of mine, Claire, an energetic 85-year-old who volunteers at her local art center, swears by a practice she calls the Daily 3. Each morning, she chooses one activity for her mind, like reading a poem, one for her body, like a gentle stretch, and one for her heart, like phoning a friend. She writes these down on a bright post-it note and sticks it to her kitchen cabinet. Claire tells me that seeing those reminders each time she opens the cupboard sparks joy and keeps her balanced. It's like having a little cheerleader in my kitchen, she laughs. And when life gets busy, say, a grandchild calls unexpectedly, she simply moves the heart priority to later in the day or combines it with a phone call, ensuring she still honors her intention. If you're concerned about forgetting to look at your list, try pairing it with a habit you already have. For example, place your notebook next to your toothbrush, so after brushing, you glance at your goals. Or use a large digital clock with a small sticky note attached. The important thing is to create a consistent cue that signals, now, it's time to plan. Over time, you may notice subtle but powerful shifts. Anxiety around the day's unknowns fades, replaced by a gentle confidence that says, I know what matters today. Productivity no longer feels like a race against time, but rather a series of small, meaningful actions. You'll find your energy more evenly distributed, because you're not bouncing from one task to the next without direction. You're flowing from one intention to the next with purpose. Social connections deepen as you intentionally reach out to loved ones. Your body benefits from planned movement breaks rather than being stuck in a chair until tension builds. Even creative urges get space, because you've carved out a specific intention, like sketching for 10 minutes, that might have otherwise been swallowed by the day's chaos. Remember, the goal isn't to fill every minute with tasks. It's to fill your day with what truly counts. Maybe today's priorities are as simple as sit in the garden for a few minutes, listen to classical music, and organize one drawer. That's more than enough. Success lies in intention, not in quantity. So tomorrow morning, before you reach for distractions or dive into routine, take 5 minutes to pause. Breathe. Pick up your pen and ask, what are the 2 or 3 things that would make today feel well lived? Write them down. Then, let the day unfold around those gentle milestones. As you cross them off, savor the satisfaction and let it propel you forward. In doing so, you'll discover that planning doesn't dull spontaneity. It enhances your freedom, allowing you to move through your day with intention, joy, and grace. Here's to crafting your daily compass, one simple plan at a time. As we've explored together, the journey to feeling healthier, more vibrant, and truly alive each day doesn't require grand gestures or complicated routines. It begins with small, intentional habits, waking up on time and breathing deeply, nourishing your body with warm water and a light breakfast, moving gently to keep your muscles strong, connecting with your inner self, and setting simple goals that guide your day. These are not just actions. They are acts of kindness you give yourself, daily gifts that accumulate into greater strength, clarity, and joy. Remember, it's perfectly okay to start slowly. You don't have to do everything at once or be perfect. What matters most is showing up for yourself with compassion and consistency. Some mornings might feel easier than others, and that's part of the process. The important thing is to keep coming back to these rituals, letting them become the steady rhythm that carries you forward. You have lived a rich life, filled with stories, wisdom, and resilience. These habits are tools to honor that legacy, supporting your independence and well-being so you can continue to embrace each new day with confidence and grace. Imagine how it will feel to wake up refreshed, energized, and ready to engage with the world on your terms. I invite you to try these 5 morning habits and see how they transform your days, whether it's a clearer mind, a stronger body, or simply a moment of peace in a busy world. Share your experiences, questions, or favorite tips in the comments below so we can support and inspire each other on this path. Thank you for spending this time with me. Here's to many more mornings filled with health, happiness, and the quiet power of simple, loving routines. You deserve nothing less.